The early 1980s were seismic. Newly elected President Reagan promoted waves of deregulation. Almost immediately, entire segments of economic life erupted in disorder. One especially affected area was transportation. And one very affected transporter was the venerable Greyhound bus lines. A report from San Jose State University summarizes. New entrepreneurs offered lower fares than the more established bus lines. And the newly deregulated airline industry made things even worse for Greyhound. People Express, for example, charged $23 for a flight between New York City and Buffalo. Greyhound charged $41. When a higher quality service like a fast plane flight actually costs less than a lower quality service like a slow bus trip, then the simple rules of economics will, eventually and inevitably, put the bus company out of its misery. To survive, Greyhound had to cut its prices, which meant cutting costs.
If we don't implement wage changes within the next 5 years, Greyhound lines would be in bankruptcy.
Greyhound went to the Workers' Collective, the local amalgamated transit union, and proposed a 9.5% wage cut. The proposal was rejected, and a strike ensued.
Greyhound left the driving to someone else today. The giant bus company shut down this morning after its employees went on strike.
Greyhound was prepared. They'd already recruited more than 1,000 new hires in anticipation of the walkout, and agreed to pay them the salary the union had refused.
Meantime, Greyhound is signing up people to man the buses and the ticket counters. It says it will start up the buses again in 2 weeks, with or without the union.
None of the new workers could avoid knowing that they were undercutting the collective's efforts. Still, they took the jobs. One new driver justified himself this way.
I don't take the job, somebody else will.
Even with the replacements, a tremendous segment of business was lost while Greyhound struggled to restore service, and the outcome remained in doubt for some time. But with every bus that rolled, the union got closer to breaking.
To some, it is strike-breaking, and it is ugly, as hostilities flared at dawn today outside many big city Greyhound terminals nationwide. In Boston, more than 200 striking bus drivers tangled with police, hurling rocks and lying down in an effort to block the first bus from rolling out. There were scores of arrests as picketers coast to coast launched a campaign of intimidation.
Anyone who gets on the bus takes their lives in their own hands. We're not responsible for whoever's on those buses.
Indeed, it seemed that way in Seattle, where 200 strikers were beating on the buses, an attempt to frighten non-union drivers off the road.
We aren't here to take this. We're here just to show the world that we are unified in what we believe in, and that's unions.
In the end, the economic reality proved too much for the collective effort. As they watched their jobs disappearing one by one, the union started to fold. A few days before Christmas in 1983, the workers accepted the wage cuts and returned to the road. In the aftermath, bitterness concentrated on Greyhound's chairman Frank Nagat. He pulled down a hefty $447,000 in salary and benefits in 1983. That's more than $1 million in today's dollars. He is still working for Greyhound today, 35 years later,